You've probably seen these viral LinkedIn carousel design posts that are exploding in popularity. They're getting thousands of likes, comments, and reposts because of the fact that they're very interactive and they're very fun. Therefore, LinkedIn will always push this type of post to new users because of the fact how interactive it is. What if I told you we can completely automate this process using AI? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly that. I'm going to show you step by step how to create this n8n automation that you set it up once and it will automatically generate content, these carousel or slideshow posts that we just looked at on a daily basis or multiple times a day. You can set the schedule yourself. This AI agent will generate the topic and it will use this one API that I'm going to show you step by step that we can post to Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Because of how interactive these posts are, you can actually use this in multiple social media platforms. I'll walk to you step by step. All you have to do is just follow what I'm doing and you can set this thing up once and completely forget about it and will automatically post on your behalf to all of the social media platforms of your choosing. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with video. For those of you who are not familiar with n8n, n8n is a low-code or a no-code platform. It's an automation platform. I'm going to put the link in the description. You can join this. They have a 14-day free trial that you can try out. So click on the link in the description, create an account for yourself, and you'll end up right here. You can click on workflow, new workflow, and you will end up in this blank design right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start with a demo to show you exactly how this works. And then I'm going to go ahead and walk through this step by step. All right, so I'm going to head over to my community so I could bring this workflow in. So if I go to my classroom section and if I come down to social media, I'm just going to go ahead and download this template, which in n8n, it just basically means that you can bring over these templates and to your canvas here, and then you can import that file so that way all of that automation gets brought up. So I'm going to click on these three dots right here. I'm going to click on import file. All right, so once you bring this over to your workflow, I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, test this workflow. This will automatically set everything up. It will create, I've shut off all of the other social media platforms. Let me shut this one off too, besides LinkedIn. So if I go over to my LinkedIn right here, go to my LinkedIn quickly. As you can see, my last post, go to my profile. My last post was this one, which was about scraping Amazon, which is a video that I did. So now I'm going to go ahead and click on this automation and you'll see that this will automatically post to my LinkedIn and we can come back and take a look at it. So let me go ahead and click on test workflow. So as soon as I test workflow, this AI agent is going to create kind of the carousel, the slideshow content, and then we're going to reach out to one API that's going to generate or create this using AI image models, and then we're going to go ahead and post it automatically to all of these social media accounts. But like I said, for this one, I'm just going to use LinkedIn to show you, and then we can come back and walk through what the other posting might look like too. So I'm going to let this thing finish, and then I'm going to come back and show you exactly what this post looks like. All right, cool. So it finished the workflow and it posted on the LinkedIn. As you can see, right here, it says post submitted and it gives you this ID. So let's go ahead and take a look at my Instagram. So I'm going to head over to let me refresh the page here. Okay. Oh, there you go. In the bottom, as you can see, it just says post now. So let's go ahead and open this post up. So it has this nice little image and it's got this bold, and we can play around and I'll show you how you can change the different image based on what models you use. But as you can see, it uses these bold pictures and you can go ahead and click on the slides. It uses multiple different types of pictures that you can choose yourself. And like I said, the reason why this is very interactive is because it has these nice images that are very striking, it's very visually appealing, and it also has these bold headlines where people can interact with it very easily. So as you can see, this is exactly like those viral posts that we looked at earlier. And the beauty of this is all of this is done automatically. So as you can imagine, this is extremely, I mean, if you were to do this manually, this will take you a lot of time. And then also obviously the post itself, it will have a title. So it says from manual to magical, transform your team's onboarding with no code AI agents, because obviously for me, this is going to be relevant to my topic, but we can choose whatever topic that you are interested, and then it will automatically create those images and the prompts that are relevant to your particular niche. All right. So now that you've seen the demo, let's go ahead and create this step by step. So I'm going to actually open a brand new workflow. All right, so I'm in my brand new workflow here. The first thing we need to do is we need to add a trigger. Now you can do this manually or you can do a schedule. If you do a schedule, means that you can set this up once as far as the trigger interval itself, and then also the timing, and then you can completely leave it and it will work automatically, right? So we're just gonna leave it for every day at midnight for now. And like I said, because I'm just gonna show you manually, but you can choose to change the schedule. For example, you can choose days, you can choose like, let's say, every 6 hours or 8 hours, depending how much you're posting. So you can utilize these different options there. And then also you can slap the trigger at exactly what time you want this thing to get posted, or you want this trigger to get initiated, so that way your workflow goes through. All right, so that's your first trigger. The next one is going to be adding the AI agent that we're going to utilize to create our prompt. So that way we can send that to our text to image generator model that we'll take a look at in a little bit, that will generate that image for us, or multiple images for us, because it's going to be these slideshows and carousels. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that plus button. Here, I'm going to go ahead and search for AI agent. So we're going to bring in an AI agent here. So you're going to change the connected chat trigger to define below, because this is where we need to give this thing a prompt where it will automatically generate that prompt for us. So let's go ahead and give it a chat model. So I'm going to actually use OpenAI. Let's choose a model here. So I'm just going to use GPT 4.1. All right, so let's go ahead and go inside our AI agent, and we're going to go ahead and work on the prompt. Now, the prompt you can play around with like a ChatGPT or Claude or something to generate your own, but this is a good example. So I'm just going to go over to my community and grab it from right here. This is the prompt that I have. Oops. Copy. I'm going to bring it over here and paste it, and we can take a look at what's inside. All right, I'm going to click on expression. We're going to maximize this. All right. So this is essentially telling it that you need to brainstorm 50 different ideas. By the way, I forgot to mention, this workflow is inspired by Sabrina, who owns Blotado, which we're going to actually use to post this to different social media platforms. So make sure you check out her channel. She's great. She owns this Blotado that I'm going to talk about in a little bit, but essentially I followed her guide here. So what this prompt is doing is this is going to generate 50 different LinkedIn carousel post ideas related to the theme unlocking productivity growth using no-code AI agents. This is where now you can change the theme to whatever industry you're in, right? So for example, if you're into, let's say, motivational speaking, right? So I'm just going to change this motivational speaking, or health, or whatever it may be. Actually, let's go ahead and do health and fitness. Health and fitness. Okay, so we're gonna use this particular field or this particular theme, and then we're going to generate multiple ideas. So because we're putting this for LinkedIn specifically, I'm saying the post should be relevant to like business professionals, startup founders, and tech consultants, because of the fact that AI agents and the AI world itself is pretty relevant in the business space. So that's why I was giving it this prompt, but feel free to change and play around with this. But then we're also kind of giving it this output format, because we want to make sure that it is outputting based on this particular format. So the caption is, this is where this will go on top of the image itself, or on the post itself. And then the prompt is going to be a unique illustration style visual idea number 1, 2, and 3, because we want to create 3 different ones. Now you can change this to 4 or 5 or whatever it may be. It will generate it. So make sure you're making those changes over here. All right, but I'm going to leave this as it is. I'm going to click on test step. So what this is going to do is generate a prompt. Oh, I think I know I messed up. I need to give this a output parser, because we need to output this format in a very specific manner. So that way it's a lot easier for our image to, or text to image models to understand. So I'm going to come in the bottom right here, click on require specific output format. And this is where we need to add our output parser here. So I'm going to use the structured output parser, because I want to define exactly what I want this to be posted as, or I want the output to look like. So I'm going to delete this, because this is kind of the standard that comes with it. Go over to my community here, and I'm just going to choose this right here. Okay, I'm going to copy this, come back and paste it. All right, so this is where we're defining exactly the format that we want this AI agent to output, right? So we want to have one that says the caption, and then also scene, which is going to be the different slides for our carousel. You can add, additional here if you want, but I'm just going to leave it as 3 at this point. So let's go ahead and test it now. Now it should generate these prompts. There you go, based on the exact structure that we provided. And you can see on the right hand side it says how AI automates fitness onboarding for busy founders, right? So it just created this kind of mix of AI and then health and fitness. All right, so you can see now it generated 3 different prompts, right? An illustration of a business founder juggling work and fitness, and then also these other ones as well. So you can play around with this prompt depending, like I said, what niche you're in. But this, you can see, essentially generates that particular prompt for images. So now the next step is to go ahead and set up our different parameters that we're going to send to our API. And in this case, we're going to use Blotato, which again is a really great API that you can use to post on different social medias. I made a video about kind of posting on 9 different social medias using this API, so please feel free to check that out as well. But I'm going to put the link in the description as far as the how you can come to this particular area. But they have really good API documentation that you can read, and all of this is available for you if you want to add additional, or if you want to learn more about how this API works. But I've made it very, very simple. So I'm just going to go back here to my workflow and click on set node. So we need to set those parameters. So I'm going to use my set node here. All right, so let's go ahead and give some space here. All right, so what we need to do is now we need to, again, same thing. We need to define this manually. So I'm going to click on JSON. I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to head over to my community. This is the set node. I'm going to explain what's going on here. So let me just copy this and paste it. Okay, and maximize this. All right, perfect. So again, if you're not part of the community, that's okay. Like, you can just pause this video and take a screenshot and copy in this yourself. But just quickly, what's happening here is that I'm using my Blotato API, so that way I can post all of this at once. Now, if you don't have a Blotato API, you can go ahead and click on the account. I'm going to put the link in the description. You're going to come to this particular area, and you're going to create, you can try this for free, by the way. They give you a free trial. And then once you log in, you're going to come to this area and go to your settings. This is where you can now log into all these nine different social media accounts. All you have to do is literally click on login. This will pop up. So for example, if I click on, let's see, Threads, right? I don't have Threads, but let's say I have an account that I want to connect to. There you go. You click on that button, you log into your Threads account or Instagram account, and then what this will do is this will give you this ID, this account ID right here, that then you can copy and you can bring to your workflow and paste it right here. So as you can see, you have the Instagram, YouTube ID, Facebook ID, Threads ID, all of these different IDs. I've already added my Instagram ID and then also my Twitter ID and LinkedIn ID because I've already logged into those accounts. But once you log in, it's very simple. So afterwards, what you need to do is you need to use this templates called base slides code card. And again, all of this is the API documentation. Feel free to check that out. The script, you can leave this as blank. The caption, we're grabbing it from our previous set node here. So we're literally grabbing this from, our AI agents. We're really grabbing that from here. And then our scenes, same thing. We're grabbing these scenes right here, which is all of that prompts that were generated from our previous AI agent. And then a caption, you want to put this, there's multiple options. You can put this on the top of the image, the bottom of the image, or the middle of image as well. The style you can depict depending on which model of text to image you're using. You can utilize the style itself. I'm just using digital illustration, but you can do like realistic, or this is where you can play around with different models. And again, like I said, feel free to check out the documentation here. You can see right here, there's different text to image models that you can play around with. And then also, as far as the style itself, you can see it's a cinematic, cyberpunk, fantasy. Like, so there's different types of styles that you can put there depending on, like I said, whatever your use case is. And then also the animate all false, because like I said, you don't want to generate any animation because a lot of the platforms don't use or don't allow you to put animated videos or images there. And then same thing for the text to image model. I'm using this Recraft AI, which is a really powerful model, but feel free to use any of their text to image models right here. So if you see text to image, they support that Black Forest, the Flux Schnell, which is actually a free model. So you can, if you want to test that out, go ahead and use that one as well. But these other ones, obviously, it will use credits. All right, so let's see, animate all, that's good. And then afterwards, like I said, you just put in the account IDs for the different social media accounts on your Blotaro that you created. All right, so once you're done with that, you just gotta go ahead and click on test step. And this is gonna output all of these different things that we just looked at inside on a nice little schema. So that way we can put this or drag it to our next node over here. So the next thing we need to do, this is where we need to reach out to Blotaro. So we're going to use a HTTP request node. So I'm just gonna use HTTP request here. We're going to use a post method. So because obviously we're reaching out to Blotaro APIs. For the URL, we need to reach to a very specific endpoint, which again is inside that the documentation here. But I'm gonna use my school community here because I'm lazy. So right here, it's called Blotaro endpoint. So I'm just gonna copy this and go back to my workflow and paste this. Yep, so the endpoint is called v2/video/creation. The authentication we're gonna leave as none, and then we're going to send headers, and this is where we need to send our API key. So I'm just gonna type in Blotaro-API-key, and then our API key we already put in our left-hand side right here. So make sure you put the API key. The way to do that is you're gonna go to your where to go, right here under the settings right here, you can just click on copy API key. If this is your first time, you're just going to click on generate, and it will generate you a nice API key. So I'm going to go ahead and drag in, and then you'll come back and add your API key there. So you'll just paste it, and this is where your API key will be imported over. All right, and we also need to send body. So here what we need to do is use JSON below, and same thing, I'm going to head over to the community here and use the JSON body right here. So I'm just going to copy this, go back here and paste this. So let me go ahead and switch to expression and show you what's going on. So what we're doing is we're using this template right here. Again, all of this is on the API documentation. I've just kind of brought everything over. So what we're going to use is we're going to use this template. The ID is going to be the template right here that we defined on our set node. So you're literally going to just drag and drop it there. Same thing with scenes and caption position. We're bringing it from our set node over here. The script, same thing. The script style, animation or animate all, and then text to image model. We're bringing it all from our set node right here, right? That's why we did that step earlier, to make sure that we can easily drag it over here. Okay, and the reason why we're doing this, by the way, is because you want to automate this process, right? So whenever you do a set node, you're essentially using this automation, so that way you can drag and drop with different nodes. So now we're good to go here. So now if I click on test step, if we did everything correct, what this will do is this will generate an ID, and it says status queuing. So this is where we need to add a wait node, right? Because we want to make sure that we're waiting before we can grab our this result that's coming in from this particular template, and then that text to image model. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the plus button. We're going to search for wait. I've tried several different times. I think to be on the safe side, 4 to 5 minutes is plenty. I'm just going to put 4 minutes and then go from seconds to minutes. This is just, this will just ensure that there's no issues, there's no errors. So test it a couple of times, see how long it takes. Again, depending on which text to image model you're using, you can play around with the different play nodes as far as the wait node with 4 minutes or 5 minutes. But I mean, again, if you want to be really paranoid on the safe side, just put it as 5 minutes, so that way you can completely forget about it. All right, so the next step is to now, once this is generated, we need to now grab it from that Blotaro API. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the plus button. We're going to use another HTTP method. So we're going to search for HTTP request again, and this time we're going to use get. So for the URL, I'm going to go ahead, same thing, go back to the community, and right here it says get carousel. So I'm just going to use this. I'm just going to copy this, bring it over here, paste it on URL. All right, so what this is doing is now we're going to reach out to this endpoint to now grab that particular job that we sent to the API to create this particular carousel, right? So that's why we named it here get carousel. So we're going to use this endpoint, and then the ID we're going to enter, which is going to be coming in from the HTTP request node from the previous one. So we're going to drag literally this and bring it over here. So that's what we're doing. The authentication, same thing, you're going to leave as none, but we still need to send our API. So I'm just going to type in Blotato API. There you go, Blotato-API-key. And then the key, same thing, we're going to grab from our previous node there. So if I go back to it's right here. So the Blotato API key, I'm just going to bring it over here. There you go. So now we're good to go. So now if I test step, and if everything finished, and if we processed everything else, this will give us this ID and also the different images as well, right? So now if you just copy this image, each one of them, and go and paste it, you'll see that the image got generated. There you go. Balance your hustle with health. Let innovation lighten the load, right? So that's one of the images. Again, obviously, in order to make this a carousel, we need to now post this somewhere, right? So therefore, now this is where we can use our different social media accounts. So I'm going to use LinkedIn again. So let me go ahead and add a HTTP request here. Okay, great. So now I can just branch this out so that way I can just duplicate and add this to, basically add other social media platforms like Instagram or Facebook, and it's gonna look pretty much the same. So let's go ahead and do the LinkedIn, and we can do the rest later. All right. So the method is the same thing. It's going to be post. The URL is going to be backend/blotato.com/v2/posts, and again, that's the endpoint that we're grabbing from the API documentation here. So authentication, we're going to leave as none. Same thing. We have to send our API key. So it's going to be the same exact thing. I'm literally just going to copy and paste my API here. So right here, that's it. And then for the body here, so this is going to look a little different now. So for this, we're going to using JSON. And then, feel free to, again, go to the API documentation, but I'm just going to scroll down and copy this post to LinkedIn. Go back, paste, expression, and I can take a look at this. All right, so for the what's happening here is like we're going to reach out to that endpoint. We're going to hit the post. We're going to do target, and then target type. This is where you would specify depending on which social media you're using. So if you're using LinkedIn, make sure it's LinkedIn. If you're using Instagram, you change this to Instagram. And then also as far as the content itself, it takes multiple things. For example, the first one is going to take text. The reason why it's showing errors is because I grabbed this from a previous one. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this over here. So the text or the caption right here was caption right here. So I'm just going to bring this over here. There you go. Perfect. And then for the account ID, so this is where the account ID we're going to bring in from right here. This is our LinkedIn. If I could find my LinkedIn. There you go. That's that. And perfect. So now, as you can see, everything looks good. And also make sure that when you're changing the URL, or when you're grabbing the URL here, the media URL, image URL right here, make sure you're putting this code that says to JSON string, because we want to make sure that we're converting this list into, or this array into a string. So that's why we're putting that there. I mean, obviously, if you're just using the workflow inside the community, then you don't have to do anything. When you bring in the blueprint, all you have to do is just change the social media accounts on your Blotato. Everything else will be all good to go. But anyway, so it looks like everything is good to go. So all I have to do is click on test step, and this is going to now post this directly to my LinkedIn, right? So if I go to my LinkedIn now, refresh the page. So this should have that new post. Let me give it a couple of seconds. All right, perfect. There you go, right? So we got these two. One was that previous one. Let me actually delete that. Delete post. And this is the one that we just got posted, right? So if I click on post here, you can see balance your hustle with health and let innovation light load. And this is transform data into action, discover best self. And then also maximize your potential by prioritizing balance in every moment, right? So it has these nice little images. And again, that's because I used a image model, and my prompt was designed kind of for AI agents. But if you play around with the prompt and then with the images itself, you can do a lot of customization here. All right, so now again, same thing. You can add, just duplicate this and just change and make sure that you're adding to your Instagram, to your Facebook, or whatever it may be. All you have to do is just duplicate this and then copy it and add, the correct accounts from your edit field right here, because you have set your Instagram, and right here you have set your Instagram account, your LinkedIn account, and all of that. So make sure that that's being brought up and correctly sent over. But after that, you don't have to do anything else, because once this gets set up, and then now you can initiate your schedule, and this will automatically generate, because our AI agent is going to generate these new ideas automatically. So that's why I said you can just set this up once and you can completely forget about it, and then we'll automatically post everything. All right, well, hopefully that wasn't too confusing. I know this is kind of a bit of an advanced workflow. It's not the simple one, not a beginner one. In my community, I have a bunch of beginner friendly tutorials. So if you're new to n8n, make sure you check that out. And then obviously we have our great community where people are always helping each other out. Or if you're stuck, you can always post things on Ask and Assist channel, or jump in one of the calls with us and we can always answer your questions. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully you found that video helpful and it wasn't too complicated. Feel free to play around with the different models depending on your niche. I'm pretty sure you can work this out where you can get really nice results for your own particular niche or industry. Thanks for watching again. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.